My name is Hamza. I am 27 years old. I was born in Aceh, Indonesia. This is one of the most conservative Islamic regions in the world. From the day I could walk, my father decided my destiny. He was the imam of our village mosque. Every morning he would wake me before dawn. "Hamza," he would say, "Allah chose you to serve." My mother would nod in agreement. She repeated the same words every single day. "Your destiny is to honor our family's religion. Nothing else matters." I was 3 when I started memorizing Quran verses. Other children played outside. I sat on a prayer mat, reciting Arabic words I barely understood. My father's eyes watched me constantly. If I made a mistake, he would correct me immediately. "Again," he would say, "a teacher of the Quran cannot be weak." By age 10, I was teaching younger children in our village. Everyone praised me. They called me the chosen one. My parents smiled with pride, but inside something felt wrong. I recited the same verses hundreds of times. I taught them to others, but the words felt empty in my mouth. They were just sounds, beautiful sounds, but sounds without life. At night, when everyone slept, I would lie awake. A heavy silence filled my chest. It was like a deep well with no water. The more I memorized, the emptier I felt. But I could never tell anyone this. In Aceh, questioning Islam means death. Even thinking different thoughts is dangerous. So I kept my doubts buried deep inside. By day, I looked strong. I spoke with confidence. I led prayers. I taught children. Everyone believed I was devoted. But at night, the emptiness grew stronger. Something was missing. Something important. I just didn't know what it was yet. The silence inside me was becoming too loud to ignore. Every day in Aceh was the same. The call to prayer echoed through our village 5 times daily. Everyone stopped what they were doing. Everyone bowed. Everyone recited the same words. I watched our neighbors. They moved like shadows following the same pattern. Wake up, pray, work, pray, eat, pray, sleep. No one asked questions. No one looked different. No one dared to be different. My father controlled every minute of my life. He chose my clothes. He chose my food. He chose my friends. Actually, he said I didn't need friends. The Quran is your only companion, he would tell me. When I turned 15, he arranged my daily schedule. 4 hours of memorization in the morning, 2 hours of teaching children in the afternoon, evening prayers at the mosque, then more study until midnight. This is your path to paradise, and he said, never question it. But questions came anyway. They crept into my mind like whispers. Why did these verses feel so cold? Why did I feel more distant from God the more I memorized? Why did my heart feel heavier after prayers? I tried to push these thoughts away. In our community, doubt was a sin. Asking questions meant you were weak in faith. Being weak meant shame on your family. The religious police walked through our village every week. They watched everyone. They listened to conversations. They reported anything suspicious to the elders. Even a wrong word could bring punishment. I saw what happened to people who stepped out of line. Last year, a man was caught listening to music during prayer time. They beat him in the village center. Everyone had to watch. This is what happens to those who disrespect Allah, the police said. My cousin once asked why women couldn't study like men. Her father locked her in their house for a month. No one spoke about it afterward. We all pretended it never happened. Fear lived in every house. Fear of saying the wrong thing. Fear of thinking the wrong thoughts. Fear of being different. I followed every rule perfectly. I never missed a prayer. I never spoke against the teachings. I never showed my doubts to anyone. But the prison walls felt tighter every day. The empty feeling in my chest grew stronger. It was becoming a pain that wouldn't go away, like hunger that no food could satisfy. I was trapped in a life that looked perfect from outside, but inside, I was dying slowly, and no one could see it. By my 20th year, something broke inside me, not suddenly. It was like a crack that grew wider every day. I stood before the children during afternoon lessons. My voice was strong, my words were clear. I taught them about submission to Allah, about following the path without questions, but while I spoke, my mind wandered. Is this all there is? Is this empty feeling normal? Why does my soul feel so hungry? The children looked at me with bright eyes. They believed every word I said. They trusted me completely. This made the emptiness worse. I was leading them down a path that felt dead to me. After lessons, I walked alone to the rice fields. The sunset painted the sky orange and red. Beautiful colors everywhere, but I couldn't feel the beauty. It was like watching life through thick glass. I tried to pray with more passion. Maybe I wasn't sincere enough. Maybe Allah was testing me. I prostrated longer. I recited louder. I fasted extra days. Nothing changed. The hunger in my soul grew stronger. One evening, my father called me to his study. "Son," he said, "the village elders want to make you the assistant imam next year. You will have more responsibility, more honor." I should have felt happy. This was what he trained me for my whole life. But instead, I felt panic. More years of emptiness. More pretending. More dying inside. "Thank you, Father," I said. My voice sounded far away. That night, I couldn't sleep. I walked to our small garden behind the house. The moon was full. Everything was quiet. I fell to my knees. For the first time in my life, I spoke honestly. Not to Allah, not to anyone, just to the emptiness itself. "I can't do this anymore," I whispered. "I'm so tired of feeling nothing. I'm tired of pretending. There has to be something more than this." The words felt dangerous. In Aceh, even thinking these thoughts could bring punishment, but I couldn't stop them anymore. I stayed in the garden until dawn. Something had shifted. The fear was still there. But underneath it, I felt something else, a tiny flame of hope. Maybe there was another way. Maybe God was bigger than the rules we followed. Maybe my hungry soul was trying to tell me something important. I didn't know what to do next, but I knew I couldn't keep living this empty life. Something had to change. The hunger was becoming too strong to ignore. My soul was crying out for something real, something alive. I just didn't know where to find it. December 26, 2004. The morning started like every other morning. I woke up before sunrise. I performed my ritual washing. I prepared for the day of teaching. But something felt different. The air was heavy, too quiet. Even the birds seemed nervous. I walked to the small school building near the coast. 15 children waited for me. They sat in neat rows on woven mats. Their faces were eager to learn. "Today we will recite Surah Al-Fatiha," I told them. My voice echoed in the simple room. The children began to recite with me. Arabic words filled the space, the same words I had been saying for 20 years, empty words that never touched my heart. But I continued. This was my duty. This was my life. Then the ground moved. At first it was gentle, like someone shaking the building softly. The children looked confused. I told them to keep reciting. In Aceh, small earthquakes were normal, but the shaking grew stronger. The wooden walls began to creak. Dust fell from the ceiling. One child started to cry. I stood up. "Everyone stay calm," I said. But my heart was racing. Then we heard it. A sound I will never forget. Like 1,000 trains rushing toward us, like thunder that wouldn't stop. The children screamed. Through the window, I saw something impossible. A wall of water, taller than our tallest palm trees, moving faster than any car, coming straight toward us. "Run!" I shouted. "Everyone run!" We burst through the door. The children scattered in different directions. Some ran toward higher ground. Others froze in terror. I tried to grab as many as I could. The water hit us like a giant fist. I was thrown into the air, spinning, tumbling, unable to breathe. The current was stronger than anything I had ever felt. It carried me like I weighed nothing. I slammed into a concrete wall. Pain shot through my back. Then I was underwater again. Debris crashed around me, trees, cars, pieces of houses, all mixed together in the deadly flow. My lungs burned. I couldn't find the surface. Everything was dark and violent. This is how I die, I thought, alone, in dirty water, without ever finding what my soul was searching for. But then something changed. A light appeared in the water. Not sunlight. Something else. Brighter than anything I had ever seen. It didn't hurt my eyes. It felt warm and peaceful. In the middle of this light, I saw a man. He was wearing white clothes. His face was kind but strong. He wasn't swimming. He wasn't struggling. He was walking on the water like it was solid ground. He looked directly at me. Then he spoke my name, Hamza. His voice was clear even underwater. It wasn't angry or harsh like the voices I knew. It was full of love. Love I had never heard before. He stretched out his hand toward me. Without thinking, I reached for him. The moment our hands touched, everything changed. The chaos stopped. The fear left my body. Peace flooded my chest like warm honey. I had been searching for something my whole life. In that moment, I found it. Or it found me. I don't remember what happened next. Everything went dark. But the peace remained. Even in the darkness, I felt safe. Someone had rescued me. Someone who knew my name. Someone who loved me. I just didn't know who he was yet. I woke up 3 days later in a refugee camp. My body was covered in cuts and bruises. My left arm was broken. But I was alive. Around me, thousands of people mourned their losses. The tsunami had destroyed everything. Homes, families, entire villages, gone in minutes. But I couldn't think about the destruction. All I could think about was the man in the water, his face, his voice, the way he said my name. Who was he? I whispered to myself. The relief workers spoke different languages. Some were Indonesian, others came from far away. I listened carefully to their conversations. One group caught my attention. They prayed before eating, but not like Muslim prayers. They closed their eyes and spoke to someone they called Jesus. Jesus. The name hit me like lightning. I had heard it before in Quranic studies. Isa al-Masih, a prophet. But these people talked about him differently, like he was alive, like he could hear them. Could it be? Was the man who rescued me this Jesus? I had to know more. But asking questions was dangerous, even here. Among the refugees, there were people who would report suspicious behavior. I waited until nighttime. Then I approached one of the foreign aid workers, a woman with kind eyes. "Excuse me," I said quietly. "Can you tell me about Jesus?" She looked surprised. "Why do you ask?" I think I saw him, in the water, during the tsunami." Her eyes widened. She looked around to make sure no one was listening. Then she whispered, "Meet me by the medical tent at midnight. Come alone." That night I snuck out of my shelter. The woman was waiting. She had brought a small book. "This is the gospel," she said. "It tells the story of Jesus. He walked on water. He saved people from storms. He loves everyone, even those who don't know him yet." My hands shook as I took the book. "But I'm Muslim. This is forbidden." "Jesus doesn't care what religion you were born into," she said gently. "He cares about your heart. Read this, but be careful. Hide it well." I returned to my shelter with the book hidden under my shirt. For the next week, I read it secretly, page after page, story after story. Everything made sense. The man who walked on water, the one who spoke with love instead of anger, the one who rescued people instead of condemning them. It was him. Jesus had saved me from the tsunami. But why? Why would he save a Muslim teacher who had never believed in him? The answer came slowly as I read. He saved me because he loved me, not because of what I did, not because I was good enough, just because I was his child. This was the missing piece, the thing my soul had been hungry for, real love, love without conditions, love that filled the emptiness inside me. But my discovery didn't stay secret long. One morning, my father appeared at the refugee camp. His face was dark with anger. Behind him stood 2 religious police officers. "Hamza," he said loudly, "we've come to take you home. Your recovery time is over." I tried to hide my fear. "Father, I'm not ready to—" "Silence!" he shouted. Everyone in the camp turned to look. "We know what you've been doing. Someone saw you talking to the Christian workers. Someone saw you reading their book." My blood turned cold. The book was still hidden in my bedding. One of the police officers stepped forward. "Where is the book, Hamza? Give it to us now." I had 2 choices, deny everything and return to my old life, or stand for the truth I had found. For the first time in my life, I chose truth. "I won't give it to you," I said. My voice was stronger than I expected. My father's face turned red. "You bring shame on our family. You spit on the memory of our ancestors." "Jesus saved my life," I said. "He pulled me from the water when I was drowning. How can I deny the one who rescued me?" The police officers grabbed my arms. "You're coming with us. We'll deal with this rebellion properly." As they dragged me away, I saw the Christian aid worker watching from a distance. Tears ran down her face. She was praying. I was no longer the obedient son. I was no longer the perfect Muslim teacher. I was a follower of Jesus, and my real journey was just beginning. They locked me in a small room behind the mosque. No windows, no light except what came under the door. They brought me rice and water once a day. Nothing else. My father visited me every morning. "Confess your sin," he would say. "Ask Allah for forgiveness. Reject this Christian madness." But I couldn't. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Jesus in the water, his loving face, his gentle voice. How could I reject the one who saved me? "So I won't deny him," I told my father. His visits became angry, then desperate. Then he stopped coming altogether. On the 7th day, they brought me a visitor. My mother. Her eyes were red from crying. "My son," she whispered, "please, come back to us. This family cannot survive without you." My heart broke seeing her pain, but I couldn't lie anymore. "Mother, I love you, but I cannot go back to living a lie. Jesus is real. He saved me. He loves me. He loves you too." She started crying harder. "They will kill you, Hamza. Is this Jesus worth dying for?" The question hung in the air. Was he worth dying for? I thought about my life before the tsunami, the emptiness, the fear, the pretending. Then I thought about the peace I felt when Jesus touched my hand, the love that filled every corner of my soul. "Yes," I said quietly, "he is worth everything." My mother left without another word. That night, alone in the darkness, I made my decision. I knelt on the concrete floor. I had no gospel anymore. They had taken it, but I remembered the words I had read about how to pray to Jesus. "Jesus," I whispered, "I know you saved me from the water, but I need you to save me from more than that. I need you to save my soul." The words came slowly at first, then faster. I have been trying to earn love my whole life, following rules, memorizing words, pretending to be good, but it never worked. I was still empty inside. Tears started falling down my face. "You loved me before I even knew your name. You rescued me when I had never prayed to you. This is the kind of love my soul was hungry for." I felt that same peace from the tsunami, warm, gentle, filling every empty space inside me. "I give you my life, Jesus, all of it, the good parts and the broken parts. I want to follow you, even if it costs me everything." Something beautiful happened in that dark room. I felt clean, like every wrong thing I had ever done was washed away. The guilt was gone, the fear was gone, the emptiness was completely filled. I was not alone anymore. Jesus was with me, in this room, in my heart, forever. The next morning, they came for me again. My father, the religious police, the village elders. They wanted one final answer. "Will you return to Islam and forget this foolishness?" my father asked. I looked at each face. These were people I had known my whole life, people I had respected, people I had tried to please. "I cannot," I said. My voice was calm and sure. "Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior. I belong to him now." The room erupted in angry voices. They called me crazy. They called me traitor. They said I was bringing shame on our village. But their words couldn't touch me anymore. I had the love of Jesus. I had his peace. I had his strength. They made their decision. I would be taken to the provincial authorities. My fate would be decided there. As they led me away in chains, I was not afraid. I had surrendered everything to Jesus. And in return, he had given me everything I ever needed. Real love, real peace, real life. For the first time in my 27 years, I was truly free. By God's grace. I escaped that night. A Christian guard helped me flee to Malaysia. I left everything behind, my family, my home, my old identity, but I gained something infinitely more valuable. I found other believers there, secret followers of Jesus from different backgrounds, Muslims who had encountered Christ, Buddhists who found salvation, Hindus who discovered true peace. We met in hidden places, underground churches, private homes. We had to be careful. The authorities watched for people like us, but we were free in ways we had never been before. Free to worship honestly, free to love without fear, free to share the gospel with others who were hungry for truth. I started helping other refugees, people who had lost everything, people who were searching for hope. I shared food, I shared shelter. Most importantly, I shared the love of Jesus. It wasn't easy. I lived in poverty. I worked simple jobs to survive. Construction, cleaning, whatever I could find. My hands became rough, my clothes became worn, but my heart was light. The emptiness was gone forever. Each morning, I woke up with purpose. Each day, I had joy, real joy that no one could take away. I met other former Muslim teachers who had found Christ. We started ministering together, visiting refugee camps, sharing our testimonies, showing people that Jesus loves everyone. One day, I received news that broke my heart. My father had died. My mother was alone. I wanted to go back, to comfort her, to tell her about Jesus one more time. But it was too dangerous. If I returned to Aceh, they would kill me. So I prayed for her from far away. I forgave my father completely. His anger came from fear, fear of losing control, fear of change. Jesus taught me to forgive, even those who hurt me, even those who rejected me. Forgiveness set me free from bitterness. Years passed. I married a Christian woman, a former Buddhist from Myanmar. We had children together, beautiful children who know Jesus from birth, who pray freely, who grow up without fear. Today, I work with underground churches across Southeast Asia. I help train new believers. I translate Christian materials. I travel secretly to share the gospel. The work is dangerous. Several times, I was almost caught. Once, I spent 3 weeks hiding in a jungle. Another time, I had to swim across a river at night to escape authorities. But I am not afraid anymore. Death has no power over me. Jesus conquered death. If they kill me, I will be with him forever. Every person who comes to Christ makes it worth the risk. Every soul saved from emptiness, every heart filled with love, every life transformed by grace. The tsunami took everything I thought I needed, but it gave me everything I actually needed. It brought me Jesus. If you are listening to my story, know this truth. Jesus is not just for Christians. He is not limited by religion or culture or background. He loves every person on earth. He found me in the darkest water. He can find you in your darkest moment. He knows your name. He knows your pain. He knows your hunger for something real. Don't wait for a tsunami to find him. Call out to him today. Open your heart to his love. Let him fill the emptiness inside you. Pray for me. Pray for believers in hiding. Pray for those who are persecuted for following Christ. We need your prayers. We need your support. And remember this promise. Jesus said, "I am with you always, even to the end of the age." He who calms every storm will calm yours too.